10 death punishments that happened in ancient times. 1. Scaphism crime. They put a person between two wooden boats, so the body was trapped and still. The victim was force-fed milk and honey and covered with the same sticky sweet. In the hot sun, flies and bugs swarmed them. The cries filled the air as insects nibbled slowly. The person did not die fast. They suffered under the sun, unable to move, for many days before life ended. 2. Brazen bull crime. Betrayal, rebellion, or enemy punishment. City, Acrogas. A huge bronze bull was made hollow like a furnace. The condemned were locked inside. A fire was lit under it. The metal heated and slowly roasted the person inside. Their screams were twisted by tubes, so people outside heard a bull roaring. The crowd listened in horror. 3. Crushed by elephant crime. Rebellion, murder, or serious disobedience. Region, India and Asian kingdoms. A giant war elephant was trained to step on a person. Sometimes it crushed them quickly. Sometimes the handler forced the elephant to slowly press down, bone after bone, watching pain grow in front of the crowd. This was meant to show the ruler's power over both man and beast. 4. Breaking will crime. Murder, robbery, or rebellion. Region, Europe. The condemned was tied to a large wooden wheel. The executioner smashed their arms and legs with a hammer. Bones cracked and bent under each strike. The broken body was left on the wheel for hours or days. Crowds watched the body fade under the sun. 5. Rat torture crime. Thieves, spies, or suspects who would not confess. Region, Europe. A cage with hungry rats was tied onto the person's helpless body. Sometimes torturers heated the cage from above so the rats, in panic, began to burrow into the victim to escape. Screams pierced the silent dungeon while the rats chewed desperately. 6. Strapato crime. Heresy, treason, or forced confessions. Region, Europe. Hands tied behind the back. The person was lifted high by a rope and then dropped without warning. Shoulders tore. Every drop forced agony into the bones. Weights were tied to the feet, so the pain kept growing. Many fell into shock before truth came from them. 7. Pena culiae, penalty of the sack, crime, parasite. City, Rome. The guilty person was sewn into a heavy sack with live animals, sometimes a dog, snake, monkey, or rooster, and thrown into deep water. Trapped in the darkness with animals biting and clawing, drowning was horror joined with fear. 8. Keel hauling crime. Mutiny, theft, or desertion on warships. Used by Dutch and British navies offshore. A rope was tied around the sailor's waist. They were thrown over the side and dragged under the ship's bottom. The barnacles and ruff would scrape their skin off. Some were dragged over and over until they could not swim anymore. 9. Mausoleo crime. Murder or especially nasty crimes. Place, Papal States. The condemned stood with head on a stone block. The executioner used a massive wooden mallet to strike the person's skull again and again until life ended. There was no quick release, just the sound of the club rising and falling until the body went still. 10. Impalement crime. Treason, highway robbery, rebellion. Region, Eastern Europe and Middle East. A sharp stake was planted deep into the ground. The person was forced onto it so it entered their body slowly. Pain built with every breath as the stake moved upward. The victim was left standing or lying on it until death finally came like a slow, cruel shadow. Well, don't forget to subscribe for more videos.